I think I have.
There it is.
300.
Okay.
All right, we got it.
Phew.
And there's Tyson. So that's wonderful. And use everything.
Okay.
All right.
Shoot.
Well, with that, I will call the Old Shore Beach Area Advisory Committee to order. And this is our final meeting today, April 25th. And it's hard to believe that so much time has gone by, but there has been quite a bit that we've accomplished. And be kind of sad to see the group dissolve, but I'm sure we will keep connected in many different ways. So as we start our meeting, we have an agenda, and I sent out a second agenda, a revised version. So I apologize for that coming late, but would anybody like to approve the agenda as is, or is there anyone who would like to amend the agenda?
No amendments, I make a motion to approve.
Okay, so Myron has made a motion to approve the agenda as written. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Tim. Tim has seconded that motion. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. So the next item on our agenda is to look at the minutes for our Monday, January 24th meeting. We did skip a meeting so we could wait until April here, which is our final month to be able to legally meet. And so everybody's had a chance to look over the minutes of that meeting. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Any changes or corrections? Hearing or seeing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I will move to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Margaret. Is there a second? Thank you, Chad. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, so now we are on to our agenda. And we have a public comment section. I have not received any written public comments. Is there anyone that you can see, Tim, that's trying to get in?
No, Madam Chair, nobody's in the waiting room, and I have not received any comments to share with the group from the public either.
All right. With that, then we'll move on to our updates, and Tribal Chair DeShaw can talk a little bit about what's going on up at Grand Portage. Maybe first of all, starting with the George Morrison dedication ceremony from Friday. This group was well represented there. 7 of our 11 members were able to attend. So Bobby, you're on mute.
Hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, I was waiting for an update from Levi today from MnDOT, our liaison there, but he has not gotten back to me yet. So I did talk to him a couple, 2-3 weeks ago there, and he said that we're still moving forward. We're just clearing some stuff up, so.
All right. Well, excellent. And I know I had spoken with him a couple months ago and kind of heard the same thing, that everything's on track and working hard.
Yeah, and I did talk to Margaret at the stamp thing on Friday, and we are not building the casino. So.
All right.
You know, I think being this is the last meeting for this there, I see, you know, I've been to pretty much every meeting on it there, and this is a really good group of people that had a really open mind. And I think once we get to the part of developing, you know, not developing or whatever we're going to do down there, I'm probably going to be reaching out to ask people to help with that there, what, we want to make well, we ain't gonna make everybody happy, but we're kind of, it's in Margaret's neighborhood and she's gonna have to look at what's there. And, I think we're gonna move forward in a good way here. So, and I don't want to do it alone, so I'm gonna be looking for help.
I imagine you have a lot of people here on this committee that would be more than pleased to support or do any work that you have that we could help with. So thank you for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to take vision to see what it should look like down there. It's like I stated probably on one of the first meetings, I wanted to tell the story of that property. George Morrison was born on that property,
Mhm.
So I'm sure there's going to be something of his down there. And, my own, my native blood comes from the Morrisons, so I'm entwined there too. So, but if we can move forward in a good way and in a positive way, I think we can really make something to be proud of and tell the story and show how working in collaboration, we can make it good.
I like that idea of collaboration. I know Tim Nelson and I were at a intergovernmental meeting earlier today, and they were talking about collaboration and working with tribal entities. And I thought, here we are, there's no rule or nobody said we had to do it, but we understand that working together is the best way for all of us to get things done. And I appreciate how this group has come together and done that. And I thank you, Bobby, for helping us through our trials and tribulations as we formed as a committee. And we had some challenging times, but we worked together and we persevered, and good work has come of it.
Yeah, I think if you can
Exciting to see what happens.
I think if you can get away from speculation and actually sit down and have a conversation, it makes things go a lot better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I just came from a meeting with the North House on the Fish House, so we got some hot topics.
Mhm. May I ask a question? Since this is our last meeting, I'm wondering, is there going to be any kind of summary of what we've agreed upon, or in the event that, something came up and we wouldn't want to have to start all over again from the beginning. So I'm wondering about that. And also, given the amount of publicity that this issue got early on, I mean, I'm two minds about this. Don't necessarily want to stir the pot again, but there are people who are curious about what the status is. And I'm just wondering whether trying to get some coverage in the news, maybe waiting until the conveyance actually is approved or goes through, but getting some publicity, because there are so many rumors and so many false pieces of information out there that it might be useful to try to get ahead of the curve on that.
Mr. Nelson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just kind of addressing the one, we actually had submitted a report. So we do have a report on the specifics that we were charged to accomplish. We do have that in place. And then we do have the minutes of each of the meetings following that from that point until now, and we'll have minutes from this one. If the board the advisory committee should choose to have, we could have some type of final statement or something that myself and Chair Sullivan can work on and send back to the to the group to see if that's something that we'd want to put forward to the commissioners to say, here it is, here's our stuff. We're ready to at your call again to address any other issues that might be there or whatever. But that would be up to you guys and the chair.
And I guess I'd like to ask you, Bobby, what are your thoughts and what do you think would be best?
Yeah, I think that's, it was a little over a year ago that we got together and, we did have kind of a task to do. So I think we accomplished it in some ways.
So maybe what Tim and I can do is put together a summary report and send it out to everyone. And then I think that once the conveyance does occur, then that will yet be another opportunity for educating our community about the process and about what's happened. And I think that'll be up to you, Bobby, how you want to deal with that.
Yeah, I think when we get to that point there, I'm going to have the commissioner will be up here and we will do an official signing over down at the site there. I'll bring the drum down and like I said at the thing on Friday there, let's get this going in a good way. And there's just something about that drum that does that. So let's wake them spirits up down there. That land is finally back to where it belongs.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you very much. Good question, Margaret, and good discussion. So now we have an update from the Cook County Historical Society and Myron.
Okay.
What do you have to share with us?
Well, we've been working with Grand Portage on applying for a grant, and there's still some, I think, Bobby, you're aware of this, there's still some kind of discussion on what that really will look like, because their grant writer up there is employed by the federal government as well. So Bobby, are you familiar with that situation?
You're working with Anna on that?
Yeah. So that's in process. And we very much want to work with Grand Portage, the tribal council, and you, Bobby, as this unfolds. I will add, and on Saturday, it was sort of a coincidence that we had a site visit to all of the Cook County historical sites. And we spent about 5-6 hours talking and looking at some possibilities. And when we made the site visit to the church, there was some enthusiasm because some of us, quite a few of us, were at the ceremony on Friday. So there was some enthusiasm there that I think just hasn't been there before, which is understandable. And so, we look at some things with some kind of thought toward the future, but we realize that this is something that needs to be done collaboratively and work together. But we did look at some situations. The church itself is in pretty serious need of repair. We have some issues with the foundation. We got some issues with the walls. We got some issues with the roof. We had Mack and McDonald, I think it's called, did a evaluation on how much it would cost to fix that up some years ago, which was around $280,000. Now it's going to be more like, 400, I would assume, somewhere in that ballpark. But, as I walked in there, and I hadn't been in there for a while, it's just really something. It's very special. It's very unique. It is so original looking to even though there are some repair issues, but it's really quite a gem as far as a historical piece. So I don't know where that goes and how it'll work, but As I mentioned, that's something that we want very much to work with the tribal council on, and you, Bobby, as well as, or anyone else, on how that's going to look in the future. And there are some possibilities there for, maybe doing some connecting or not, but I know that stirred up quite a controversy when we talked about that, even before this whole process started. So, but any questions on that? Bobby?
The Historical Society is also going after some bonding, I believe, right?
Yes, that was.
That's something different.
No. Well, that is in addition to, and I would think that the grant, in my way of thinking, would be excellent way to go. But we also have a bonding thing, and it got a hearing last week, and Maria and Katie did a great job. I talked to Rob, and I don't know what the chances are, but we're going after $1 million, and some of that money could be used as well. But it's for, we did include that Chippewa City as part of our rationale for the money. So if that all happens, we'll have to look at prioritizing where that would go, but there certainly is some opportunities there as well, Bobby. But that's something that, one thing I have to remember is to refer to you as the chair, tribal chair, but I've known you for so long as Bobby. Please forgive me on that one. But so, there's some discussions there that could take place as well. I have some thoughts about it, but I won't get into it here because I'm not speaking for the Historical Society, and nothing, we're just in the process of doing what we can to make sure that we work with the tribe and in making that a better place and a more significant place, and what that role will be with the beach is to be determined.
Yeah, Maria contacted me about the bonding there, and I did reach out to our lobbyist.
Good.
And through our support behind it too. So
great.
We're trying to help you guys out somehow here.
That's very, very much appreciated. That's helpful. I'm sure that'll carry a lot of weight. Yeah, it's a wonderful time, I think, for this property and for what's taking place in the recognition of, the people that live there, and it's long overdue. And so the Historical Society is on board with that.
Myron, have you had good attendance at the George Morrison exhibit down at the JHP?
I haven't checked. I was tied up yesterday, so I don't know. I'm sorry. I know it was on the agenda, and I don't know. I just don't know. I guess I could check on that.
Okay. I know I just swung by briefly on Saturday, and there were a number of cars out there, and it looked like people in the lobby. I didn't go in. That exhibit will be running through the month of May, I understand. I think there's 3 pieces that are being featured. Is that correct?
I don't know exactly, 3 or 4.
All right. I think there's 4 in the collection, so either 3 or 4. All right. That sounds good. Well, thank you very much. Little update from Cook County. I checked with the highway department, and they're anxious to hear from John Moran or anyone from Grand Portage about signage. They're ready to roll with that whenever a decision is made on what colors and whatnot the sign would be. I also did, even though it's not on the agenda, just check in with Sheriff Eliason to see how things are going in terms of law enforcement. And they've had no calls at all since January 1st. So that was really reassuring. So that's where those 2 pieces stand. And then the land acknowledgement we had been talking about, and the county still has not finalized the land acknowledgement. I do have a draft that I shared, or Tim Nelson can actually screen share with all of you if you'd like to look at it, if people want to look at that.
What signage are you talking about?
Oh, the signage was to go right near the edge of the path that goes down to the beach. And so that was the signage that was referred to. And I talked to John about it, and he just said maybe once the conveyance is done that he would contact the highway department. So what Tim just put up is our draft land acknowledgement statement. Again, it's a draft. The racial equity group, which we're part of, has been meeting for about a year now. And one of the tasks that we had during that first year was to develop a draft that could be shared with organizations like the school district, North Shore Health, the county, for example. And it would be something that could be kind of a template, something that they could build off of. So the first and the last paragraphs in this particular land acknowledgement are the paragraphs that came from the racial equity group. The part that's in the middle is the draft portion for the county that we still have yet to discuss and run by department heads, and there's still work to be done on it. But the idea is that each separate organization would look at their mission statement and try to incorporate their mission and the land acknowledgement together so that it made sense. And I know the school district is in the process of working on one, and this is ours. So the important part for this land acknowledgement is the middle portion, which ties the county and what it does to the document. And it's about making sure that we improve our relationships and that we take action. And I look at this committee as an example of how a community can take action. So if you read that, maybe I'll read the whole thing. I know some of you have looked at the first and third paragraph, but I'll read the whole thing. We acknowledge that Cook County, Minnesota is located on the traditional lands of Indigenous people, including the Dakota, Cree, and Ojibwe people. Most recently, the Grand Portage Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa, who have cared for and called this place home for time immemorial. This land holds great significance, and it was taken through exploitation. Indigenous people have not only survived here, but maintained a rich culture which continues to thrive. This land acknowledgement only becomes meaningful when combined with flourishing relationships and informed actions. This is a first step in honoring the land we are on and its Indigenous people who lived, traded, and navigated along the lakes, rivers, and tributaries still here. We would also like to recognize the 1854 treaty, and we're committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation, gratitude, and respect. We embrace our opportunity to build relationships based on trust, consistency, and accountability, and offer allyship in a lifelong process of learning. We support and advocate for the sovereignty of Indigenous nations that are forever connected to this land. So that is our draft. We'll continue to work on it, and I'm sure you will see information in social media, and if you watch those county board meetings and committee of the whole meetings, you'll see a lot of discussion around this. But I just thought it was appropriate to share tonight with all of you where we are at this point in time. Any questions or comments that you might have? All right. If not, the one other item I wanted to update the group on, we're actually talking at the county about a land disposition policy. I mentioned this briefly last time, but it was one of our agenda items at a recent committee of the whole meeting. And so we're looking at all the tax forfeited parcels that we have in the county, looking at developing a way to determine what would be the highest and best use for each of those. I think you've heard the discussions for some parcels that might be looking at affordable workforce housing. For other parcels, it might be a disposition to Grand Portage. But anyway, we're working on that policy. I think it'll take some time. But I'm really pleased that we're looking at many, many different uses of properties that are here in Cook County and taking a broader look at what may be done with those. Some of those parcels may be left green for green space. Some might be determined to be set aside for future development, maybe a fire hall up the Arrowhead Trail someday as Cook County continues to grow in population. And perhaps some parcels would be conveyed to Grand Portage. But we'll look at the development of the policy. I would encourage all of you to be involved. There's always public hearings and public comment at our board meetings and committee of the whole. And I just really encourage you to stay involved and stay passionate. Any questions about that? All right, if not, Tracy, any updates from the city of Grand Marais?
Oh, there you go. For a second, I thought I had muted myself. I don't think we have anything new from the city. You'd asked earlier about the exhibit. I was down yesterday to Johnson Heritage Post, and it was the last day of that spring exhibit. And so Morrison's work is on the permanent side on the collection. And yeah, there's a lot of people in and out. There's no doubt about it. And they also had a volunteer effort as well yesterday afternoon. So that may have been driving more people in the door as well. But I think between the two, there's plenty of people in and out looking at all of that. And Spellman's work is still up as well. So yeah, people out.
All right, well, thank you very much. And I want to thank the city again for putting up the pet waste station. Nice that we have that. And that is one less thing that we have to manage on the beach, because it seems like people for the most part are picking up after their pets. Margaret, you can tell us, have there been many issues down there over the winter with pet waste?
No, there haven't been any issues over the winter. As things thawed a bit, there was a little bit of an issue with people parking, because the parking area wasn't plowed. So parking on the side of the road, and I just tell people, I'm not into calling the sheriff. I just tell them you're not supposed to park here, or you're not supposed to go here or whatever. And, they're always just fine. It's like, I didn't know that, or I'm moving now or whatever. So, but yeah, there's hardly been anybody. I mean, it's not very accessible. It wasn't very accessible. The drifts were enormously high.
They were. I had to wear my mucklucks every time.
I mean, to the extent that I hurt my back climbing up and down them every day.
So item 6, next steps. I guess, Bobby, maybe we want to ask you, how would you like to communicate with this group once you get that good news?
I'll probably reach out to you or Tim, and they kind of got everybody here. I got emails coming in on one screen here.
All right, well, we will certainly look forward to hearing that good news. Anything else for the good of the order? Getting down there to the bottom of our agenda.
Thanks to you, Ann, and to Tim for helping us through this process.
I would say thanks to everyone. Like I say, we all know we had some struggles early on, and the group did a lot of learning and supporting one another and persevering, keeping our nose to the grindstone to get the work done. So thank you all for doing that. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everybody for being part of this group, and, said we started out a little rough there, and I think we got it kind of smoothed out once we got some facts straight. And, I think, like I said earlier there, I think this is going to be a real eye-opening project, and it's going to be a great example of when you work together on something good comes out of it. So, miigwech to everybody.
Thanks to everyone. Been a good process, and we'll look forward to the fruits of our labor in the very near future. All right. Well, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
We will
Thank
be
you.
in touch.
You,
All right.
you all.
Bye, Ann. Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Goodbye, everyone.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Tim, what time's that Parks and Trails meeting tomorrow?
5 o'clock,
At the courthouse?
courthouse. Yep, right in the